always there when you call. Oh, hey there. didn't notice you come in. Okay, so we're talking to Garahatia to continue the Crystal Tower quest line. For prosperity. The Fellowship of Noah being accounted for, it is time this assembly was called to order. Rambros will be presiding over the meeting. If you'd be so kind as to inform him of your readiness to proceed. Wow, bro. Wow. Welcome back, Mercy. I have just been reading about your encounter in the Labyrinth of the Ancients. It pleases me greatly to note that you seem none the worse for the experience. For your reference, I have added my own notes to Garaha's preliminary expedition report and begun compiling a Crystal Tower survey log. The information contained therein will be available to you at all times. Should you have any questions, you need only ask. Now, if there are no objections, I shall begin with a summary of the expedition's key accomplishments. I'll choose a tenacity +4 for my paladin. Why not? This completes the quest, but also has a cutscene. In the course of this, our first foray into the grounds of the Crystal Tower, we succeeded in neutralizing the structure's outer defenses before proceeding to secure the maze surrounding the base of the spire. According to Mercy's account, the labyrinth's defenses were most emphatically active. Disturbingly, her report also mentions a violent encounter with a sentry heavily augmented by elegant technology. In short, our misgivings were well founded. The Crystal Tower was not simply thrust above ground by the chaotic shifting of Earth. It has somehow been reawoken. If, as seems increasingly likely, the tower's secrets should prove too dangerous to share with the world, we will have no choice but to contain them. Short of leveling the place, this will almost certainly involve returning its mechanisms to a state of dormancy. To do that, however, we will first need to address the question of how they work, the answer to which must surely be awaiting for us inside the tower itself. In conclusion, that is where we must go, says Sid. A task rather easier said than done, if the perils of the labyrinth are any indication. Then I move that all further exploration of the tower be delayed until such time as an exhaustive analysis of the structure's defenses has been completed. Master Garland, may I entrust this task to you? It would be my pleasure. Don't forget about us! It's like you said, Chief, we founded the Ironworks to make sure that technology was used for the right reasons, and that means making sure it's not used for the wrong ones. We wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't see this through to the end, says Biggs. Lads, well, I hope you're ready for some back-breaking chores. Well, everything seems to be in hand here, so I shall take my leave of you for the present. If I am to witness this valiant tale unfold with mine own eyes, I must needs hone my martial skills ere we ascend the spire. You'll do nothing of the sort, Garaha. Your knowledge may prove useful to Master Garland's investigation. He crosses his arms and looks off with his... As an observer, I am not, strictly speaking, subject to your authority. Pray do not mistake my intent, Mercy. I am well aware that I shall never be a match for one with your innate talents, however hard I train. Be that as it may, pray do not allow your skills to rust from disuse during the coming pause. We will need you fighting fit if our subsequent forays are to prove as productive as this one. Mark me, we have not yet caught more than the briefest glimpse of that which time has obscured. Soon, however, we shall cast off the veil and gaze upon the glory of the Allegan Empire. And with that encouraging thought in mind, it is time to bring this assembly to a close. Let us all focus on the tasks at hand, that our next expedition may begin all the sooner. Meeting adjourned. The two of them walk off, leaving Wedge, Biggs, and Sid and myself. And then we kind of get this view of the Crystal Tower. And there is the British man himself, Nero, with his weird mask covering his eyes for some reason. He's just walking. Such a terrible mess. Yet it does not leave the door wide open, so to speak. Yet it does leave the door wide open, so to speak. He's in that area with all the crumbled statues that we have deactivated the defenses. One cannot help but be impressed. I'm beginning to understand the reliance you place on adventurers, old friend. So, this is the legacy the Allegan Empire left behind. If my readings are correct, the energy source waiting atop the tower is a match for even the ultimate weapon. nay, more than a match. A new toy for me to play with. He takes off his mask finally, and obviously it's Nero. He's just hiding the crystal in the middle of his forehead. I believed the fates had conspired to deny me my just rewards once again, but it would seem they had a greater destiny in mind for me. And so long as my ambition burns, I shall strive to seize it. The dream lives on, Cid. Do not disappoint me. He does a wicked smile and walks on toward the tower. Complete with evil villain music. Dun, 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 dun. 4 prosperity is complete. This video is still short, so let's just move on. The next quest is Syrcus Tower, Syrcus. Given to you by Rambrose. Cutscene fade to black. I imagine that I will not complete this quest fully until after I've completed that raid thing. Rambrose and Garaha are talking as you approach. Ah, 'tis you, my friend. You are doubtless eager to hear of our progress on the Crystal Tower? Excellent. I'd be disappointed to hear otherwise. Of course, disappointed is the word of the day, I fear. I'm ashamed to say that there is nothing worthwhile to report. The suns continue to probe the labyrinth of the ancients, and every day brings new discoveries. Alas, the same cannot be said of the Crystal Tower proper. We've not been able to set so much as a single foot inside it. You will recall how the 8 sentinels stood between us and the labyrinth initially. In like manner, the entryway into the principal spire, Syrcus Tower, the elegants called it, is also protected by technology far more advanced than our own. Cid and I have tried every trick we know, but without success. Frankly speaking, we are at a loss. It is discouraging, but we cannot give up. There must be a way in. And so the situation stands, my friend. Until we gain entry into the tower, I fear your talents shan't avail us. It will require time that I am loath to waste, but I have a mind to set my people to scouring such ancient texts as we have on hand. Perhaps we can be of assistance. And you are? A man and a woman, both iron, both with red eyes, wearing mostly green, black garb, kind of like metal and cloth combined. The woman has more white on her sleeves. The man has more black over the body. And they both have like some kind of head garb that's just like pieces of stuff kind of around and above the ears and kind of eyebrows, and the woman kind of on her forehead where it meets the hairline, and some green flare here and there. Be at ease, friends, for we share the self-same goal. I am Unai, and my companion is called Doga. We are scholars of the elegant civilization, sent by the students of Baldessian to assist in your endeavor. Unai and Doga? Rather unusual names for this day and age, if I might be forgiven for observing, but I digress. You claim to be here at the students' behest. Wow. But we have received nary a word of your coming. I am sure you'll not take it amiss if we seem somewhat doubtful. We can only assume that the message failed to reach you due to some mishap. I assure you that we are here to help. Garaha has this weird kind of look. His hand is up to his face. He seems like frozen in thought, maybe. What is it, Garaha? 'Tis nothing. There was a pain, but has subsided. Kind of the similar thing that you get with your flash and your headache and... Well, this is rather unexpected. Your right eye is the same as ours. Again, he has one red eye, one blue. The same? You have the Allegan eye as well? This sanguine hue is said to be the trait unique to the Allegans, yet I inherited it from my father, as he did from his. Only one child in a single generation is born with the eye. All my life I have sought to learn the truth of its manifestation. If there is aught to know, I implore you to tell me. My deepest apologies, but we have no answers for you. Only one thing is certain. Those who possess the trait are bound by fate to Allag. As your eye has placed you upon the path you walk, so too have we come here to fulfill our destiny. Absurd though it might sound, it is the truth. It seems to me that we have naught to lose by accepting their aid. What say you? If that is your wish, then so be it. Yet know that I still mean to verify your story with the students of Baldessian when I am able. I trust there will be no objections. The two in green bow. Very well. As of this moment, I name Unai and Doga advisory members of NOAA. Without further ado, let us have them examine the Syrcus Tower entrance. I promise you'll not have a cause to regret your decision. They bow and curtsy. Mercy, I should be much obliged if you were to accompany our new friends to the tower. Biggs and Wedge are presently surveying the 8 sentinels. The 2 of them can show you the way. Upon arrival, pray report to Master Garland. He will brief you on the situation. I shall join you, Mercy. With Unai and Doga's knowledge, along with your uncanny knack for setting things in motion, I am hopeful that we will finally see progress. The more you know. Alright, so we shall fly southeast again to the entryway. The thin path with gigas and lightning sprites abounding. Click on the crystal gate, that lopsided, tilted over, leaning tower of Pisa kind of gate. And we can remount, but we can't fly in here. We still get the Jazz Wolf music. Haha, that is the only reason for mounting the jazzy music. Wedge and Biggs are in here inspecting the rubble. Well, if it isn't Mercy, eager to enter Syrcus Tower and kill everything in sight, no doubt. As I'm sure you've already heard, though, the place is locked up tight as a clam. New friends from the students, you say? Excellent. It's been slow going, or rather, no going, for the chief. He'll appreciate the help. If you'll just follow me, I'll take you to him. Cutscene, fade to black. They were inspecting the crumbled statues to see if they give any indication. We're looking at a gigantic gold door, and Sid is just looking up at it with his arms crossed, contemplating. You and Biggs and Wedge and was it Doga and Unai and Garaha? Wow, I'm remembering names somehow. All approach Sid, and he smiles. Ah, some old faces to lift the spirit, and a couple of new ones besides. Allow me to introduce Unai and Doga. I think I got those names wrong. They are scholars of ancient Alag, sent here by our friends of Baldessian to aid in the investigation. We understand you're having trouble circumventing the tower's defenses. 'Tis our hope that we can be of some small assistance. If I'm talking bland for them, it's because they have no facial expressions, and they seem rather bland. So I felt the need to speak blandly as them. Unai just nods. If your attire is ought to go by, your assistance should prove invaluable indeed. He turns back to the large golden door. They all look at it, along with you. To begin with, let me tell you where we stand. Beyond rises Syrcus Tower, the principal spire of the structure collectively known as the Crystal Tower. The only way to get inside is through the proverbial front door, the imposing gate you see here. The problem is, we can't get it to open. It's sealed by some mechanism whose workings are an utter mystery to us. When I say massive gold door, I mean like 5 stories tall. 5 or 6 stories tall. It's got some like blue kind of lights along the outer edges and kind of the upper kind of arch as well. And then a couple blue kind of like lava lamp kind of floating, kind of blue white kind of mass inside of these like tubes with gold inlays, gold filigree, I don't know what it's called, that are kind of at the upper outer edges of the door. Having had no success via more orthodox methods, I went at it with everything from a pickaxe to a magic cannon. Nothing so much as put a scratch on it. For a blessing, the gate doesn't try to reduce us to ashes like the 8 sentinels, but that doesn't make it any less effective as a security measure. It's fiendishly frustrating in its simplicity. The only clue we have is the elaborate device carved upon it. A man and a woman, respectant, Allegan royalty by my judgment. Precisely who these individuals were, we cannot say, nor do we know that whether the device actually serves a purpose. Like as not, it is purely decorative. The woman and the man in green look at each other and nod, and they both walk forward toward the door. The man to the right, the woman to the left. Kind of the same as the symbol on the door. Symbols on the door. If you're thinking to force it, save your strength. It's no use. Just ask the calluses on my hands, says Sid. Unai, rest assured, we do not mean to waste our strength. Indeed, why should we exert ourselves when the gate will open of its own accord? She actually smiled. He didn't, but she did. They both pushed a hand forward. Blue light emanates from it. Blue lights kind of look like they're beamed onto the door, and then that blue energy flashes up the length of the door, up the height of the door, kind of like a blue wave, and then more blue patterns where those figures were, like the king figure and the queen figure, like from playing cards. They alight in blue, and the door opens to either side, just like out to the sides. I don't think any of us expected that to happen. Seven hells, what is this? What did you do? What are you? Says Sid. They both turn to Sid. Piercing the heavens and gathering the light, a symbol of mankind's glory and might, says a voice. Oh. Its virtue guarded by gates impregnable, only to those of royal blood answerable. Exactly as passed down through the legend, I am delighted to see. And here walks up Nero. I've never watched any of this. This is all new to me, sadly, but also awesomely, because I get to share it with all of you. Beg pardons for interrupting your bewilderment. I couldn't help but notice the remarkable playthings you've acquired. Nero, you're still alive? He did just kind of disappear from that one dungeon. Garland, if I didn't know better, I would say you weren't happy to see me. But I jest. In light of our recent meetings, you have every right to be wary. But rest assured I am no longer a threat to you. My legion is for all intents and purposes defunct, and my association with it means a tight noose awaits me back in Garlemald. And so I've been roaming this land Eorzea, a regular itinerant. In the course of my wanderings, I chanced to catch wind of your latest venture. It sounded positively fascinating, and so I decided to come here and join you. After the wrongs you've committed, you think us that gullible? If you are suspicious of my intent, 'tis only my just deserts, but I am determined to make amends. As a gesture of goodwill, I will share with you what I know, starting with these two odd characters. And then you get like this view of the dungeon raid, whatever, beyond. Some blue crystals, a lot more blue tubes with those flowing blue kind of magma, some more gold, kind of like mini towers, like cylinders with the crystals on top of it, and a stairway, and a big kind of silvery stone archway kind of thing. As you are doubtless already aware, the Crystal Tower was the symbol of ancient Alag's might and prosperity. Entry was permitted only to royalty and a select few individuals. According to the records I have unearthed, only royal blood can open the gate. In other words, the Emperor and his progeny were living keys. You mean to say that these two are descended from Allagan royalty? Oh, I suggest nothing so glamorous. To put it plain, they are imitations of royalty, living keys born of Allagan ingenuity. Clones, I believe, is the name your creators gave your kind. Is that not so? They look to each other. The man closes his eyes briefly, looks up. 'Twould seem that the time for concealment is past. Pray accept our apologies. 'Twas not our intent to deceive. We simply wished to avoid causing undue alarm by prematurely making what many would consider deranged claims. If it please you, let us return to the 8 Sentinels. There's much and more to tell. I don't understand why here isn't just as good a place as any to talk about it, but the archer looks to you really quickly and then says, very well. And the red eyes, white dragon, no, the red-eyed people Walk back toward the sentinels, the crumbled sentinels. Walk past Nero, who follows them. 7 hells. Do you seriously mean to follow us around? Sid says to Nero, turns back to him. Come, Garlond. You know me better than to think that I spoke in jest. What more will it take for us to be reconciled? A gift, perhaps? A gift, perhaps. He holds a hand out with something in it, presumably. An elegant tombstone. It holds the information I just shared with you, and a deal more besides. It used to be the jealously guarded property of the 14th Legion, but it's yours now. I wish you joy of it. I look forward to working together, old friend. Then he turns off to follow everybody. And fade to black. You know, because I skipped all of these cutscenes, I literally just clicked escape, skipped the entire thing every time. The first time I saw Nero in the 4 other characters that are way past this point by now was quite a ways from now. Because, you know, spoiler alert, he reappears later on, but we'll get to that eventually. So now we'll speak with Doga. If you're ready to listen, we shall tell you all. As it pertains closely to your investigation, your leader, Rambrose, may wish to be present. Cutscene, fade to black. We are looking at the crystal kind of energy barrier that you can click on to get into all of the raid dungeons. Rambrose has joined us now in front of it. Before we begin, pray allow me to apologize again. It was not our intent to deceive you. As you will have already gathered, we are not scholars sent by the students of Baldesion. Nay, we are quote-unquote clones, copies of people who once existed, given life through elegant technology. This is rather a lot to take in. If it would not be considered unseemly, might I ask why you and yours were created? And more specifically, what is it that you now seek to do? That you seek now to do? I don't know, whatever. Answering your questions requires that we revisit Allegan history. Pray bear with us. Pray bear with us. The Allegan Empire reached its zenith long before our kind came into being. In that glorious age, the Crystal Tower stood tall as a symbol of Allegan pride. Parents took their children there that they might learn how the nigh limitless energy it produced brought prosperity to the whole empire. That prosperity, however, bred decadence, and the empire began to show signs of stagnation. This decline was made all the more rapid for want of strong leadership. In a matter of generations, the Allegan civilization became a pale shadow of its former self. Its once gleaming cities fell into despair, and its frontier lands were given over to the wilderness. Lamenting the pitiful state of affairs, one technologist made it his mission to restore Allag to greatness. Amon was his name, and he believed that the ailing empire wanted for but a potent ruler, and none was more potent than its founding father, whom he sought to resurrect. The founding father? You cannot mean Emperor Zandai? I can't. None other. As part of his experiments, Amon created clones of the Emperor's descendants. We are the products of that experiment, copies of Unai and Doga. Historical texts mention the reigns of 2 Allegan emperors named Zandi. Xande. I'm going to call it Zandi. It was commonly believed that the second was the namesake of the first. After all, such a custom is not uncommon among royalty and commoners alike. To think that the 2 were in fact one and the same. I need a drink of water, hold on. Just in case there's things to see behind me. Okay. Zandi returned from the grave and assumed his throne once more. And true to Amon's prediction, the emperor restored his realm to the glory it once knew. Would that he could have been satisfied with that. Oops. No. Good thing I didn't stop the recording. Anyway. Whoops. In his previous life, the Emperor decided to bring the entire world under Allegan dominion, an ambition that ultimately went unfulfilled. Having been granted a second chance, he was determined to succeed. Realizing that he needed more power to wage his war of conquest, Zandi returned his sights towards the forbidden source, darkness. In order to learn how to harness this power, he converted the Crystal Tower into a restricted research facility. Nero is smiling off kind of to the side. Darkness? Again? Seven hells. What is it with megalomaniacal rulers turning to darkness in their lust for power? Well, at least this one won't be bothering us, being thousands of years dead and all. Would that you were right, Mr. Garland. Everybody kind of like, oh crap, at this, you know. Oh. Alas, Emperor Zandi is very much alive. Within Syrcus Tower he still abides, his ambition burning all the more ardently for his empire's collapse. Harness the power of darkness. You see a glimpse of long stairways with gold railings, and then golden platforms, and yeah. Wielding the power of darkness requires prodigious amounts of energy that not even the Crystal Tower could produce. In order to augment the shortfall, Dalamud was created and launched into the heavens. On high it hung, gathering the sun's energy and channeling it to the tower below. However, a miscalculation resulted in a surge of energy that escaped into the land. This triggered an earthquake of unprecedented violence, the calamity that ushered in the Fourth Umbral era. In the blinking of an eye, the mighty Allegan Empire was laid to waste. Yet even as the Crystal Tower was sinking into the earth, the technologist Amon, now Emperor Zandi's closest aide, invoked powerful magics and halted the flow of time. Paused time? Wow. Every soul within the structure, the Emperor included, was placed in a deep slumber. In that state they were to remain until the time was ripe to awaken. And you saw glimpses of more long curving stairways with gold railings, and there's a lot of gold and blue motif. The stairs are all blue, but gold and blue crystal, I think, motif in all of these things. Eras came and went. After millennia lying dormant, Dalamud was summoned back to the earth. Its descent triggered the seventh umbral calamity, in the wake of which the Crystal Tower re-emerged. So the Allegan Empire created Dalamud in order to absorb the sun's energy and redirect it to them to harness the power of darkness to basically rule the world. Okay. At that moment, Emperor Zandi awakened. Right now we're seeing the blue kind of crystal stairway leads to this platform, and then behind this big platform is a blue crystal throne. Very tall, very ornate blue crystal throne. And there's a being sitting on the throne with its head tilted over, basically like leaning against one of its fists, and then the other hand is kind of placed upon its thigh, like he's bored, waiting. In his lust for power, the Emperor consorted with darkness and was seduced by its corrupting influence. Even though his empire is now little more than a fading memory, he will stop at nothing to see his ambition realized. You get a quick little kind of more close-up view, and then it fades back to you and the group, standing around chatting. 'Tis for no other purpose but to put an end to Zandi's madness that we exist. This is the mantle we have inherited from our namesakes, the true Unai and Doga. Fearing what might befall the world, the two of them sought to thwart their emperor. They gave unto us their will, that we might carry on their mission should they fall. Or fall. I didn't see if it was an I or an L, honestly. When we came to our senses within the Crystal Tower, we deliberated a course of action, concluding that we alone could not overcome Zandi. We struck out to find a worthy ally. It has taken years, but our search is finally over. 'Tis no ordinary woman who can cut a path through the labyrinth of the ancients. With you as our champion, Mercy Valkyr, we are confident that we can end Zandi's dark ambition once and for all. This video is much longer than I anticipated because I've never watched these cutscenes to see how long they were, but I like it. I'm learning a lot. Well, that'll teach me for speaking too soon. Setting my chagrin aside, I see now why you knew about the students of Baldessian among a host of other things. You were observing our investigation the whole time. So what will we do, Mercy? The world's in grave danger again, and it just so happens you're an expert at saving it. Enunciation is sometimes difficult. Everybody's giving you thumbs up and cheers. You have our eternal gratitude. Together, let us see the Elegant Empire's dark past laid to rest. Doga finally shows a little bit of emotion with a smile and a bow. It has been our mission to recover the long-lost knowledge of the Elegant civilization, but what worth is that knowledge if it means subjugating the realm to peril? Truth be told, it pains me to think that the tower's secrets may become lost to us, but the greater good must ever come first. Besides, no quantity of ancient relics can compare to our friends Unai and Doga, living, breathing Elegans. And so I hereby declare change in Noah's objective. Henceforth, we shall direct all efforts towards sealing off Syrcus Tower. Its dark secrets must never know the light of day. I want to get a voice modulator, I think. Captain Robert has one for his D&D stuff, and I kind of want one. Especially if I start being a D&D DM, which I hope to do in the not-too-distant future. Mercy, as you did for us within the Labyrinth of Ancients, I would have you enter the structure and eliminate hostile elements. Suffice it to say, this includes Emperor Zondi himself. I still have my red mage hat. Chapu? Oh. Meanwhile, the rest of us shall examine ways to isolate Syrcus Tower from the rest outside world. To work then. Get some cheers from Biggs and Wedge. A nod from Sid to Garaha. Nero is watching everybody walk off and follows Biggs and Wedge. And Sid is right behind Nero, although he kind of reaches out to him briefly. Nero turns for a second, but then shrugs, turns back and walks off. Garaha Tia. Wait, there is something I must know. My right eye is like yours. Does this mean... You inherited the trait from your father, you said. Know that clones are unable to bear offspring. You have no cause for concern. To the elegant eye, you called it, but to us it is the royal eye, owing to the fact that the trait manifests only in those possessed of royal blood. I cannot well explain why the eye runs in your line, but I am disinclined to think it a coincidence. Though you are doubtless impatient to learn the truth, pray have patience. All will be revealed in due time. So clones can't have kids, which would mean that the royal blood of the Elegant Empire runs in Garaha's family tree. Namely, it would be probably from his father. Alright, Garaha Tia, what do you got next? Another cutscene. Wow, this is a long video. My bad. I love learning all this, though, finally. And there's so much more that I've skipped through that I'm going to learn all anew. My apologies if I've given you cause to worry. I'm quite well, I assure you. As you can appreciate, there has been much for me to think on. But now is the time for action, not idle thoughts. Syrcus Tower awaits us. The clones nod. Your task is to eliminate all hostile elements within the structure, Zandy himself included. This will afford us the chance to seal off the facility. May the crystal grant you strength. Pretty soon today, I'm going to be practicing some stuff for work with a friend. Syrcus Tower is now available. I don't want to call it Syrcus, so Syrcus is my given. Anyway, that's the end of this video. The next video will be the raid of Syrcus Tower. But this video is long enough as it is, so I will see you guys next time.